Alright, welcome back for some more easy blues harmonica, and today we're going to be doing our same vamp that we used last week for our little solo harmonica in G, accents on the 2. And honestly, I've had an excellent week this week because my mate Roger, he put a little question in the comments like, how do we add a riff onto something like this? And does it have to be the same sort of tempo, the same rhythm that you're already playing? So yeah, that's been sort of fun for me, and I've spent a bit of a week exploring that, because actually when I built this riff, it was a lot more complex than what it sort of ended up. So let's quickly review. So this is what our riff sounds like. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1. Cool, so that's what we were playing solo. Now, like I sort of said, important things is to have a bit of a beat going, so either have like your foot on the floor, a bit of a drum kick, have a metronome going, something to keep that beat nice and sort of steady. Now for this video, when I'm sort of talking about this, because I'm talking, not sort of concentrating really hard on keeping a steady beat, we'll probably float all over the place with our tempo, and that sort of doesn't matter. But again, back to Roger's question, how would you go about putting a riff into this thing? Now, when I was building it up to teach you guys, I put a lot of long held notes into our bar. So in our 4 beats of the bar, like 1, 2, 3, 4, first beat of the bar. So we're holding notes for all our time in the bar. So what's our balance? We're in balance between playing and not playing. So let's just like start at the very start of this. So 1. Where can we find some time to add a riff into here? Now, I like to talk about being boring before you're cool. I probably should like sort of phrase it as be like, really good and solid with what you're playing before you move on to something else. But in my mind, how it actually feels is it's boring. Like it's, I'm playing this. If in my mind I'm thinking about, okay, what's the next note? So we're going to go 1, 2, I'm going to play the root of the chord. Beat 3, I'm going to play the flat 7. Beat 4, I'm going to go back to the 1 of the chord. Beat 1 again, like I'm resting, get the drum beat in there, then I play. Like if my mind's really busy and I'm thinking about all that sort of stuff, don't add in anything else. Like, we're not here to like kill ourselves. We're here to have some fun and play some music. So what I talk about by being boring is like inside my mind when I'm playing this sort of tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Ba, 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 ba. I'm pretty bored in here, done this a lot. What else am I going to do? Sweet. And that's where Roger's at the moment, I think. Because like when you start to think, sweet, what else can I do in here? So let's cut out of our beats and everything for the moment and have a think about it. So what do I like to put in? Well, obviously minor pentatonic or blues scale, if we want to use our flat 5, so blues scale. And then descending. So what if we sort of put in something like beat? And just like ascend up the scale. Okay, that sort of sounds right, but probably too many notes won't sort of fit right in. So let's experiment with it. So we'll just like try and sort of put in a bit of an ascending scale. So we'll go 1, 2, very slow, 3, 4, 1. So we've got a bit of space in there with like how our notes are. Maybe there's too many notes, maybe there's not enough. Let's play with one that's like even less notes. So just do like I talk about little triangle patterns. So the first 3 notes of the minor pentatonic scale or the blues scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. triangle, so I immediately heard when I did that ascending just 1, 2, 3 notes, is I've still got plenty of space. So I just came back down with those 3 notes. What about sort of something else? Because I started to feel that little thing. Put in there like my favourite standard triangle, which is 4 draw, 3 draw, half step bend, 4 blow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So all of those were just different variations in speed on those little 3 triangle notes that I like to use. Now, the hardest part about making a solo for yourself is you don't really know what you want. Like when we're copying songs, like it's a lot easier. You go, oh, okay, I've heard that. That's a cover. Like I know what that sort of sounds like. Several, less options. You go, I want to sound like this. When you're making your own songs, you can sound like anything. So how do we get it to come back together and be something that people can sort of understand? Is we repeat things. So I sort of liked a bit of that triangle there. I'm going to speed this one back up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through it just once because I don't really know what I'm going to play, and then I'm going to add in something like a bit of a triangle in there. So play through it once, add in a bit of a triangle. What sort of speed we go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's keep going. Actually, if I keep going, I sort of lost my rhythm there. Important part. If we sort of move and lose our rhythm and things, we're solo, so it doesn't matter, but we want to keep our feel going. So let's address this by using the last 4 bars of the song. So we've got our 5, our 4, our 1, and back to our 5. Now the way that we sort of play this, there's not a lot of space, like 1. So we've got a choice. Do we want to keep doing what we've already established, or do we want to put something else in with a lot of sort of notes? As long as I'm hitting the root notes of the bar somewhere in that 12-bar structure, because we've established it a lot at the start of the song, people will realise what we're sort of doing. So I'll play one, but I'll play it through because you need to establish it. It's a balance, like Adam Neely says, repetition legitimizes. Music's a bit of a balance between stuff that we've sort of heard before and then something new. And that's where I sort of use that boring scale that I sort of talk about as am I feeling bored? Let's put in something new. Have we lost where all the chords and everything are? Let's put in something that we've heard before. So go through the song again from the start. I might put those triplets in sort of straight away. And let's see what I'm going to do with our change at the end of the sort of song. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so not too bad. For me, that sort of felt a little bit like higgledy-piggledy, a little bit sort of all over the place. I found I'm sort of doing this sort of stuff because I keep doing different things, like I lose a lot of the thread of the song. So like, you don't want to go like, well, you can, but hear how something like this sort of sounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the second verse sounds cooler than the first verse. It definitely sounds a lot more 12-bar bluey. But we've got options and things there. So yeah, how do we get like a bit of a riff into something? Well, we get ourselves a little bit of space. So once we're feeling like, super confident, we know how to play this really well, i.e. bored, then we can start to add in a few little things. And yeah, we've got like, our patterns. So we've got triangles, like ascending riffs, descending riffs. Let's do like a descending riff, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There we go. So a little bit of fiddling around. I want to leave that in there, like sort of while I'm thinking about it. So I started descending, had too many notes. So I put a little, or not enough notes. Wasn't happy with the notes basically. So I just put that little, it's sort of a descending scale in thirds really, but like not all of them. So like that's a common pattern that you'll sort of hear. So just use little bits and pieces of it. So I descend, get not quite the note that I sort of want. And this is something you talk about like feel. Like, I sort of say like, play a scale slowly over a backing track. Why? I want to be able to hear my notes. Like I'm using blues scale, minor pentatonic scale. Like it's 5 or 6 tones that I have. And I want to hear them in relation to like where they are in the scale. So I don't know. I hope this was like a little bit of use, this lesson. It was certainly fun for me now. Like I've spent like over a week practicing this. Oh, I mentioned this song used to be busier than like what it was. So like, it's sort of, oh, we wanted to try and add it in with this riff. So originally it was something like that. You sort of heard right at the start, it was a little bit tricky for me to sort of incorporate like both the riffs in together. And that was why I actually dropped that. That's why I dropped that chuggy sort of sound out of it when I was originally starting to teach this. I thought, no, there's too much stuff in there. I want to make it a lot simpler, a lot sparser, and just have accent on the 2 as our like. So that's how I sort of started. That's how this riff was invented. That's like what my plan was. And so now I've got the other question of like, okay, how do we add some more things into it? So, okay, cool. So there's a bit of an example. With that, again, what I'm thinking of with balance there is, as long as I've got like something that repeats all the time with that bum, ba, 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 then I can do a little bit more with my sort of scale. So I was like, actually, my thinking for that was, what's the same thing, ba, ba, ba. Let's do something different with the scale, ba, ba, ba. Let's do something different with the chord change, ba, ba. Gonna do something different with the scale, ba, ba, ba. Let's do another thing, another thing, another thing. It's the 5 now, 4 chord, gonna do some weird stuff now. Bring it back together, ba, 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 to make it sound the same, ba, ba, ba. Okay, sort of complex, but like, yeah, literally that's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking scale numbers. I'm not thinking what note am I going to play. Is it a 5 or a 6 here? It's sort of a bit of a combination of feeling. You know, people talk about, oh, you just play with feeling. Well, they're the sort of things that I'm feeling when I'm playing, but I didn't start as like somebody who could play blues by feeling it. Like, I had to learn this stuff. I didn't feel it. I'm like a white guy from suburban Australia or rural Australia. We don't play this sort of music here. This isn't how I was brought up. So I had to learn a lot of these things. And blues isn't an 18th century Western European musical style. Like, we use the terminology of our scales and things because, like, that's what I was taught. That's what I'm familiar with. But yeah, blues is a spoken language. It's like it's a call and response, and the response is complicated. Winston Marsalis said that one, and I like it. So, yeah. So I don't know, Roger. I hope that helps a little bit. But guys, thanks very much for all the comments. Like Neil, Norman Mundy, Pat, Jim, of course. Like all you guys that put comments on my videos. That's really why I enjoy doing this. So yeah, get out there, have some fun.